What's up, guys? Good morning. Welcome to the Flip Texas podcast. I am excited to be here with Molly today. We are going to be chatting all things real estate, investing on the outskirts, I believe, maybe even foreclosures, what's going on in 2022, what has Molly been up to, and we have a big Flip Texas event coming up here in the Heights at Eureka Heights the 17th of next month. So definitely check that out. We have some pretty big lineup. We have Mr. Texas Real Estate out. We'll have Boris Sanchez speaking. A good group there. So definitely make sure to check us out next month here, 17th Eureka Heights. Well, appreciate it, Molly.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me. It's great.
What I'm curious, I guess first off, we met a long time ago, and we
like 4
really
years ago.
haven't. I think I was asking for help on some like foreclosure
It was
or
a
something.
Katie house.
Yeah. I still love Katie. It's definitely a pretty, I don't know the right words you think for Katie, but it's like there are deals 100%.
Oh, it's hard. It's a tough area.
But it's a different area.
It is. I've got a Katie house that I'm working on right now. It's almost done actually, and it took like 5 years to buy it, and I had to buy it from another wholesaler.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it was a long time, and those deals are very hard to come by. I feel like,
Really?
but the market's is strong there, so that's a good part about it.
So you followed the seller for 5 years,
Yes.
and then you and then you had the.
No,
you were...
so I saw the house. I got it. I found it on a water shutoff list, and then it popped up. Somebody that I know had it, and I was like, I've been trying to buy that house forever, and so I did buy it. I paid him a healthy wholesale fee. So,
Okay. Just a couple $100,000.
70. But,
Oh, holy
yeah,
cow!
Yeah.
She paid a $70,000 assignment fee.
I really wanted the house. It's an old Cape, so.
Oh, okay. Like, is that 77493?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I like that area too.
Yeah, so I haven't been doing, I've been doing quite a bit, but not as much in like Houston areas. A lot of stuff
Okay.
outside of Houston. I got 3 properties around Lake Somerville that I'm working on right now. And some other things that are not even close to being close to home. It's like 2 hours away for everything that I'm working.
Okay, well, I want to hear all about these areas and how you're finding these areas and how you're doing these deals. But first, I want to know, how the heck did Molly get into real estate?
Okay, so I was.
And when was this? Like a million years ago or what?
2015, 2016, I was a real estate. I was the executive coordinator for a real estate investment club here, and then I went into real estate myself. So I started with free education, and then.
So you were selling like the courses, or kind of like helping?
I can't really talk about it.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to.
Is that how you met Corey Thompson? Or is that how you know Corey Thompson?
No, actually, I knew Daniel Moore first. I brought him into the club, and he had just launched Propelio. And so I had gotten pretty close with him, like just chatting about real estate. And then I went to Dallas and then met Corey. And I think I met Corey online way before, like just chatting about real estate and stuff. So no, but yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't work in, I do. The stuff in Houston, I can sell it to other people for a lot more and way easier. So I prefer to do that. And then my projects I do out there. But I have Airbnbs that, like I was telling you about Wallace, I have 2 Airbnbs there, and I'm killing it in small markets. Like, it is really surprising to me how much I rent. Like, I'll show you. But I'm very happy about it. But like, so for April, I have to go to stats. So that's how much I earned in April.
Wow.
And then I got 12 bookings too. So I don't know how to look at my occupancy rate, but it's like, that's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's pretty substantial. I guess obviously it depends on like how much your note is on the property, and obviously you said like taxes too, but that's still a good
Well,
like.
but even there,
That's
that's
still-
low tax areas. Like
Okay.
just those smaller markets, they don't have. It's in the city limits, so it's not. There's not a mud district. There's not anything like that. But I think taxes this year, you should be protesting your taxes. Everyone
Okay.
should be protesting their
Yeah.
taxes.
Who have you? I know I used Texas tax protests before.
I
Who have
use
you been-
myself.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
it's like my hobby, I think, because I actually had my friends, really close friends that I've had for like 20 years. They own homes now. We're adults now, and so I was like, "You guys should protest your taxes," and they're like, "Wait, what are you talking about?"
What is that?
I was like, "Okay, give me wine and a pool party, and I'll show you like what I'm talking about." And actually, it turned out that one of my best friends, her little sister, she came and their whole mortgage, their escrow account was completely messed up. They were being double charged for their taxes in their escrow account. And
That's
so I was
crazy.
like, so they're gonna save about $600 a month just by correcting that issue.
Wow.
And then her dad is like, "Can you come help me with mine?" And I was like, "I can't help you with yours. Like, I can't file somebody else's protest. I can't do anything like that. But I can tell you what I did."
What to do?
Well, not what to do. Just
I'm
I
not
can
an
tell
attorney,
you
not an
what.
attorney.
I'm not an attorney. I cannot provide any legal advice, and I can't do that. But I can show you what I did, and then,
It's
maybe
a big
you
deal.
can do it yourself.
Yeah, I had this subject too that I owned as a rental for a little while near Galveston, and I know we were like double paying for sure on the I don't know what was screwed up, if it was like the insurance or the taxes, but it was screwed up. I think we were literally like double paying some of the taxes.
So
And I didn't want to like mess. I wasn't sure I wanted to like mess with it too hard because
That's
of the
what he
situation.
said. So he was really like apprehensive at first. He was like, "I don't want to like owe a bunch of money after this," and I was like, "No, literally, it says county taxes and then it says taxes. So and it's the same exact amount." I was like, "They legally cannot charge you more than 2.5 months of overage because there's a 1/12 rule or 1/6, depends on who you ask, but it means that like banks and mortgage companies cannot charge you more than 2.5 months of your total escrow amount.
Okay.
So they usually divide that down, and so that's how you can calculate what your actual payment is. But for their case, they had 2 line items of county taxes, and it was significant. I mean, their taxes are like $5,000 or $6,000 a year, so
Wow.
divide that over 12 months and then add the overage on top of it.
Yeah.
They were paying a lot of money for no reason, and they were getting refunds on the overages like every 6 months or so. They would the mortgage company would
disperse
reimburse them and
Okay.
disperse them, and it said in the fine print like your escrow account should only be X number of dollars,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
there's $7,000 over that. and so I was like, tell them to stop. Just send them a letter and tell them to stop taking the extra money. Tell them where the problem lies, because they don't know. It's usually auto generated anyway.
Mhm.
So there's not somebody actually looking at each statement every month. They're just like, they put it in there and then they charge you money and you pay it or you don't. And
So while we're on this topic, okay, so say you're advising Bob, who lives in Katy.
I'm not advising anybody.
Okay.
I'm not advising
okay.
anybody.
Bob's house in Katy. It's in 77493 in Old Katy, and last year the tax appraised value was $300,000, and this year he opened up the envelope, and let's just say it says closer to $500.
Okay, then Bob
what
needs
does
to
Bob
check
need to
out.
think about?
Bob needs to check out if he has the right exemptions applied. It's like, so my friends, we're talking about their homesteads.
Okay.
This is not investments.
Yeah.
This is not business.
Say it's like their homestead.
It's just their homestead. So this is something that they need to make sure that all their exemptions are applied. So homestead exemption is 20% off of, like, not all of them, like the emergency services are not discounted and the college taxes are not discounted. But
Okay.
everything else there's a 20% discount for your homestead. And then
Okay.
in Texas, your taxes cannot be raised more than 10%. So on your homestead. So,
if it's a homestead.
So if they do,
because I was about to say I've definitely seen a lot
if it's a
more.
homestead, it doesn't count for us. Like, it just doesn't count. But when I buy my houses, like I'm buying them under market value. I'm buying them. They all need work, and they all are. There's something wrong with them. That's why I'm buying them. Otherwise, I can't get the financing for them because it won't. That underwriting won't approve it.
Okay.
And so, if I buy them, I have the closing statements. So I just take my closing statements and I protest the valuations and say,
Like,
how
hey,
can
I
it be this if I
much.
bought it for this? And that works 100% of the time.
Really? So okay, so you can bring your HUDs of you bought this property for $50,000 and be like, hey, I bought this for $50. Why am I being taxed at?
I bought a house in Lake Livingston, and I think I paid like $18,000 for it.
Sheesh.
And this was not this year.
Okay, I was about to say.
But the taxes were well above that, and that's exactly what I did. I just took my HUD and I said, how can it be worth that if I paid this? And he said, well, I can't go that low because of the land value, so I'm gonna have to do it this way. And it was like $500 more than I actually paid.
Mm-hmm.
That was what he taxed me on. I was like, okay, that works for me. I don't care.
Wow.
So it's as long as you approach it with like a business, like this is my business logic. This is what makes sense, because it doesn't make sense to pay for taxes if you are buying it at less than.
So not just like, not just like a random complaints about I'm paying too much, but
don't
bring facts to the table, kind of.
A lot of people don't want to protest their taxes because they think that it increases their market value. I kid you
Are
not.
you bringing like a page of like comparables, or you're literally bringing your closing statement?
I didn't even look at comps this weekend. I just like looked over their mortgage statement and I was like, that's wrong. And then if that's fixed, like if that's fixed, so this particular person, they bought the house last year.
Okay.
In February. So it was already increasing at that time, the values, and I think the difference was $120,000 from the time they bought it in February to what they were trying to tax them. They were trying to tax them like almost $500,000 for this house, and they paid $395. And I was like, first of all,
this isn't the heights.
First of all, you can just show them that you paid $395, and that lasts for about 2 years. Like, that was the market value whenever you bought it. Then you put the homestead exemption on it, and so it can't go 10% above that. And it was well over 10%. So
I need to start taking notes on this.
No.
Okay.
You could just watch the.
Okay, I'll have to rewatch.
But yeah, so for them, they can go and Texas changed something this year, which is great. You used to not be able to apply your exemptions until the following year.
Okay.
So let's say they bought the house February last year. They can't apply for their homestead exemption until January this year. They could not apply for their homestead exemption until 2022.
Okay.
They changed that. Legislation changed that. Now you can apply the same year that you bought the house. So you have the homestead exemption from the time you buy the house and apply the exemption, and you have 2 years to apply that exemption.
And that's 20% off, essentially, of your tax bill.
Everything except for the college and
emergency services.
Emergency services. I don't know if the mud is discounted either, but I don't buy in muds. So
yeah, that's
I don't like muds at all.
Good cost. So what are you? It sounds like I know you said something about 10 projects going on. Is your primary strategy are you doing kind of a combination? So we're doing really big like combination of flipping plus, I believe in like you need to be doing different like active and more long-term things at the same time. Are you doing like holding more or flipping more?
I'm holding more. I'm doing Airbnb a lot more, and just because of my newfound success. But so I'm holding mostly, and then I'll wholesale, like I said, the stuff that people can't touch anyway. So it's really hard to come across a deal right now. But
so you agree with me that like the market definitely has gotten a little tougher for sure, like with just
I don't think people are moving like
yeah.
We have low
if you look at the
realtor,
realtor like statistics,
yeah, we have low inventory all around, but it's not non-existent. It still exists. There's still people that need to sell their house. There's still houses that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
So
And we're finding that like it's, I guess it's kind of like which deals are you doing, but we're finding that we're doing less, like say less volume, but that like when you fix and flip a house, the spreads are like bigger than they were.
Well, I think that's like, because the values are increasing while you're doing it. So you buy it, and then all of a sudden it increases another couple percent.
Yeah, and I guess if that's like a $500,000 house or $1 million house, that can be a good amount. Cool. So you should definitely tell me. Okay, so you were advised. I told you I have this. I told you I have this property in Wallace. Seller. Basically, I have a lien on the property. Had it under contract, and the seller's attorney. It's like one of those ones where we deal with this a lot. Where, not a lot, but sometimes where the elderly like family members like, okay, I want to sell the property, right? And then one family member's like, okay, great, because we always ask everyone, hey, what do your son and daughter think? Like, are they on board with you selling it? Always ask that.
They don't.
And
they don't. They want to. They have their own envisionment.
The son is on board, sitting at the kitchen table. My team member Max is sitting at the kitchen table in Wallace with them. It's the elderly seller, the son, and him. They sign the contract at the kitchen table, and she's
but all they can say say something like, "Dad was under stress" or whatever.
And then the other sibling is from like New York. This is what happens. It's like some other sibling. They're like, oh yeah, all the siblings are on board, and it's like some other sibling from New York or something. They come in and they're like, oh no, like whoa, this was like way too low, like, or they're like,
oh, you know what? I think I know who you're talking about.
And then so now my attorney is in talks with her attorney. And the attorney's like, okay, listen, actually they'll sell you the house, but we're waiting until she gets set up into a nursing, like a nursing home or whatever. And we're like, what's that?
I'm gonna grab some water.
All right, cool, sounds good.
But I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh, really?
I think I know the exact house. I'll ask you.
What color is it?
No, I don't know the color of it. I know the person though.
Okay.
In that small space. Where are you?
Yeah, it's I guess it's a small world, especially out there.
Yeah. So, but you said New York, and I think I know what you're saying.
I think it's something like that, and it could be, it could be some. It's all these people up north. They're like, oh no, you sold it too low, or this or that. But yeah, so my attorney's talking to her attorney. Her attorney's like, okay, well, whenever we get the right nursing home set up for her, or whatever, because she can't live alone anymore.
Oh, she can't? And then I don't think I know.
Apparently. Yeah, so.
Good luck with that, then.
But what do you, okay, so it's a 3-2, about 1,300 square foot on 3 acres in Wallace.
195 to 225,000.
Is what you think the what is?
It's worth.
Is what you think the ARV is?
No, I think that's what it's worth.
As is.
Yes.
As is.
Yes.
As is.
Swear to God.
Boom, okay,
so
you're
actually,
right.
there was a house that was sold in Wallace right there. It sold for $165. It was on 2.5 acres, completely old.
Okay.
Old.
Like needed gut renovation.
Yep.
Full gut. Okay. So mine's a pretty good deal then. I can base off that. And I have multiple questions, but the first one is, how do I know if this is a good Airbnb or not?
Okay, because
And
I'm making a ton of money out there.
And what do you think about the exit strategy, and how do you know if it's a good Airbnb or not?
I like that area for Airbnb just because it's in the middle of everything.
You think Wallace, Texas, and I have my opinion on this as well. You think Wallace, Texas is in the middle of everything. Why do you say that?
Because it's central to everything, and there's so much development happening right there. There's 300 home development, 100 home development, and 900 acres being developed. 900 acres in Orchard. It's in between Rosenberg and Sealy, right off of 1093, in between 59 and I-10, and Twinwood Parkway is coming out there. They've already built it.
What's Twinwood Parkway?
So Twinwood is the largest landholder in Fort Bend County, and they have built a parkway from I-10 all the way to 59. So they've already got Hunt Road has already been transformed into it, and it's where Polo Ranch is and Fulshire.
Okay. Because Fulshire, I mean, when you say oh, there's a lot going on out here, most people be like, what the heck, Wallace? I shot
Well, they're
this
also
deal
supposedly
to some
building a
lenders.
lake. There's a lake that's supposed to have been gone out there for like since like 1970.
I sent this deal to lenders. Lenders were like,
No, we don't want it.
are
We
you
don't want
smoking crack? And
Call
I'm like,
Rob
listen.
Lewis. Call Rob Lewis because he'll do it.
And I
he's
said,
the
listen,
one that did mine in Wallace.
Fulshire, Texas. I said, Fulshire, Texas is the fastest growing city in like Texas, pretty much.
They can't keep up. We can't. So Wallace cannot keep up with their infrastructure. They can't. Like they're having to move so quickly because of the amount of growth that is growing out there. There's plenty of land, so new builds. I mean, we have a shortage of inventory. Guess where they're going? Wallace.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get back with my
Rosenberg
attorney and be like,
to Sealy on Highway 36 and like 1093 area. That's
Okay.
like you can go anywhere. You can go to Sealy, you can go to Katy, or you can go to Richmond, Sugarland,
I
or
like
you can
that
jump onto
cool-
West Park. And
I like that cool bar.
it took me 30 minutes to get here from Wallace.
Oh, you live in Wallace?
I don't. I live in
Okay.
Orchard, but
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's a
right
cool.
now.
That is a cool area.
Same place.
Yeah, I like to ride my motorcycle over like cool roads.
so
and
my
stuff over
Airbnb
there.
guests are wedding people. They are the bikes. Ugh. How do you say that?
Bicyclists.
Yes, that. They ride their bikes in those marathons from Brookshire into Simonton.
Okay.
And
There are a lot of wedding venues out there too, huh?
There are like 3 minutes from in Wallace. There's
Okay.
there's 3 of them. There's a lot of people that travel. They don't want to stay in the hotels. I actually have a lot of long-term stays that come out there for work, and they don't have any lodging out. Like if they work in Guy or Eagle Lake, or I have pilots that are coming this summer for like 60 days, and they're working they're seasonal workers, and they work in Eagle Lake, and there's nowhere for them to stay.
Okay.
So they're renting that one for 60 days. I have another one that just checked in yesterday. They sold their house in Fulshire, and they're buying a new house. So they're staying there they're like, oh, well, we only booked it for 30 days, but we might need it for 60 because...
I hope so.
yeah, I was like, it's open right now until this date. If you want it, you can book it. So it's surprisingly good, really good.
Okay, I have my next question for you. So I hold some, I have some land, and some property in East Bernard.
I'll buy it.
My close friends, they moved out to East Bernard, and I had never heard of this place before they moved out. They're like, hey, we're moving out to East
Best
Bernard.
school district.
And I'm like,
so the only
where the heck is
downfall,
this?
the only my opinion, totally opinion. My opinion is the only downfall right now is for Wallace is their school district. Now, I will tell you that there's been a change in board, and there's a very promising board member. I don't know if she's going to be there next year, but she is the like principal administrator or something in Sealy ISD, but
Okay.
she got onto the board in Brazos because she works there. I mean,
Uh-huh.
she lives there. She lives in Wallace. She works in Sealy.
Okay.
Wallace right now, Brazos ISD can't afford to pay her what she needs to be able to work where she lives. As far as salary wise, there's a lot of young teachers that go there. So all of the teachers, I pulled a FOIA request for something else, but a lot of the teachers.
What does that mean? I don't think our
FOIA?
viewers know
Okay,
what that is. 'Cause I don't.
Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
So you can, in anything that's a public entity, like government, anything, you
Like
can.
a request for public.
You request for public information, because if it's in the school district, it's public information. That's why whenever you sign your kids up for school, I don't know if you have kids. I have kids.
Not yet.
But you are given the option of, do you want to disclose information? And a lot of people think it's for like photography and stuff, and it is, but it's also for those types of requests. So my kids, if you want information on my kids, they have to get written permission from me first,
Okay.
because I'm not going to have my kids in a Freedom of Information Request Act, and you can get their addresses, you can get their ages, like their birth dates, anything that's on paper in a public domain. So I did a Freedom of Information Act request, and I was looking for how long teachers stay there, and it's about 1 to 2 years. It's just like entry level position. They come in, they get experience, and then they go and they get a job somewhere else. And I think that's a huge problem for school districts in general, but this one in particular, because there's only a few that stay long term, like for a long time. I mean, we had one that just retired and she worked there for like 40 years. But for property wise, I think that's important, because if you have good schools, you have better property values, because people want to live there. So like we were talking about Katy, East Bernard's the same way. People want their kids to go to school in East Bernard. They don't want to live in Katy.
Yeah,
they're from that area, and everybody wants their kids to go to East Bernard.
I think that's like 90% of the reason why everyone's moving out now on the other side of town to Mount Bellevue, because they like the schools in Mount Bellevue.
It's hard to put your kids in schools that are good schools. Since my accident, my kids go to Brazos right now. And next year we're going back to Katy, because I don't want my kids going to Brazos.
Okay,
I love Brazos.
but you still like believe in that area though.
I love that area. I do. I mean, my sister lives in Wallace. My family's from like Valley Lodge, like that type of
Oh
area.
yeah.
So
Valley Lodge on the way to the river, basically.
Yeah, in Simonton.
Yeah.
My dad lived there, went to school in Lamar Consolidated and whatever, but
when you were growing up, did y'all always go down to the river?
No. Well, my sister maintained a relationship with us, and so I remember like being in Wallace when I was like really young, and her daughter's brother is around my age, and he made me ride his bicycle to the Texaco to get him a Propel water. That's when Propel came out.
Okay.
and I had to ride a bicycle and go over railroad tracks and cross a highway, and I was like, I'm glad there's not a lot of traffic, because if my kids were to do that, my kids would never do that now. Like, I would never allow my kids to do that. But it's a small town that's growing very, very quickly. So I do like it. I enjoy it. But I want my kids to go to Katy Junior High and Katy High School. So
because you want them to be in the Katy High School football.
No,
you're not one of those parents. Like, there are parents where they're
my
like,
kids aren't sports people. They try, but they're not like they're. I think academically wise, I went to Katy for a little bit, and the academics are so different. So my kids were in a classical academy before my car accident, and when they went to Brazos, they're like, "This is so easy. We learned this last year." And I was like, "Oh no, oh no, okay, that's a problem."
Yeah, heck yeah. I went to Cinco Ranch High School, and everyone, it was like the parents and the kids and the teachers, they're just, everyone's very like focused there.
Holds a, they're known for that. They're nationally known for the academic excellence and the sports. So it's choose which one you want to go to, whether it's Cinco Ranch or Seven Lakes or Katy High School.
There's probably another one opening like every year. I
think we're on number 10 already.
I do. If I didn't live on like a super large acreage, I would consider living in Weston Lakes. And they built a high
an elementary school.
I don't know
right
though, but I'm
street.
sure like there's so many old people there. They're probably like
No,
really.
actually not. That's where a lot of Astros players live.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But they have built a high school, I think, right across the street from Weston Lakes now. What do you think
It's
about?
not a high school. It's an elementary school.
Oh, okay.
But they just put a light up there, so that's confusing a lot of people.
Okay. But what were you saying about Weston Lakes? Why don't you like it?
Oh, I just wouldn't. I don't like HOAs.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably good old boys club with a country club
low
there.
taxes, no muds, like maybe in the city limits, but not an HOA. Like I don't.
I was talking
Which
about
is basically
this.
Old Katy. That's
Okay.
that's,
With somebody the other day, and they're like, yeah, like I think we're talking about like the idea of like development, and they were like, yeah, I'm like gonna build these houses or whatever, and I'm like, dude, imagine
I want to do
If
that.
imagine whenever the people that built Weston Lakes, whenever they said, "Man, we're gonna build
They're
these
their own town. They're
these
just like
amount of
hunters.
houses that are this expensive in the middle of some field."
But you know that
Like
place
people
in,
must have thought they were off their rocker.
that Bunker Village in 77024.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
their
that's very
own
nice.
zip code. They have their own police
Okay.
department. That's the same thing as Western Lakes.
Okay.
So they've established their own like incorporation. So they're not full sure. They're themselves and.
They don't have all their own like stores there though. I guess you just go to Fulshire basically.
They are.
or-
They're going to get it.
You think they're going to?
Oh no! Go out there. Go look. It's all being sold off and developed. All of it.
Really?
Well, because Twinwood is basically they own everything.
What's the developer?
Yes, they own.
I know they have that new
own
subdivision
all
there
of
right now,
those.
too.
I don't know if they're developing the subdivisions themselves, but I know that they own all of the land between I-10 and Highway 36. Not all of it, but they've been working since the 70s to buy up large family farms.
Okay.
And so they're the ones that are building
Down
the
that twist,
Twinwood
down that
Park
twisty
Road.
road all the way
Yes,
to I-10.
14
That's nice.
Kumi Road, whatever.
There's a couple little mansions over there that are nice.
Yeah, those are not Twinwoods, but a lot of that is Twinwood owns Anthony's Market. So the restaurant.
That's the bar that I was telling you that I like to get. It's like cool. It's a cool vibe over there.
Okay, that is
It was.
expensive.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like-
why it's a special occasion. It's special.
It's a
You can't live
special-
you can't live on Wallace salary and go there
No.
too.
It is so expensive. The drinks are expensive. Everything's expensive, but it's a nice atmosphere.
Yeah, go to the patio every once in a while,
Yeah.
once a year, save up your money.
All right. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, definitely. Moving forward, so you're focused on
Short-term
doing more
rentals.
Airbnbs and
Short-term rentals.
where are you like looking for these
outskirts, anywhere that's not Houston. So, small markets, low taxes. I look at the tax profiles a lot before I decide that because that means a lot.
Okay, I know I'm just asking you a lot of different areas. I'm like really fascinated by areas. Why in the heck is Brookshire property value so? Well, I guess it probably goes back to school districts.
Same thing with no.
Why is
same thing
Brookshire
with
so
Twinwood.
low? You can drive. I
It's
swear.
school districts.
It's 7 minutes, right? 6 or 7 minutes from Brookshire's here. Old Katie's right here on Highway 90.
It's
Why
school
are the
districts.
values so low still?
It's school districts.
Are you buying in Brookshire? And what do you think
No,
about buying in Brookshire?
I'm not buying in Brookshire.
What about Pattison? And why do you think Brookshire
I go like West I-10, like on my side, like that
Okay, like west, like you're saying, toward Fulshire or whatever.
way.
Huh.
West I-10, like Columbus, LaGrange, all the way out there.
Have you heard anything in Brenham before?
So I have a house in Burton. That's
Oh, is
8
that-
minutes from Brenham.
Okay. How's that doing Airbnb?
I'm not done with the project yet,
Okay.
but I'm excited.
It's gonna be an Airbnb?
Yeah, I looked at the comps for what's renting out there, and it's like $600 a night because it's like right in between Round Top and
Ooh.
Brenham, and it's on my house is on the lake, so
The lake? What lake?
Lake Somerville, the south
Okay, I
end
see.
of Lake Somerville.
How if you don't mind me asking, how are you financing a lot of these like what do you think's your ideal strategy for financing the
Hard money
Airbnbs?
and then refinance. Hard money, fix it, refinance. So BRR.
Okay. And you're like doing like I guess just some kind of product, whether it be like non-QM or bank loan or whatever.
So if I have a
best you can
chance
do.
to season it, then I'll do a DSCR loan.
Okay.
But if I don't, then just traditional
Okay.
refinance investor loan.
Okay, cool. So I'm assuming you're trying to get these properties like at a discount to where
I own.
to where you
buy
can
it.
get
It's
to where you
I'm
can
not
get
buying it.
to where you can like pull that money out whenever you refinance that hard money
No, so
without
I don't
like a
want to.
ton
I don't
of
want to over leverage right now. I think that's a bad idea, and I think that if you're gonna do that, then you might as well just do an interest only loan and keep the payment low. And so
Okay.
if you're gonna over leverage, not financial advice, Jesus, but like I think that's the only way to right now with interest rising, and to keep like cash flow going and not just paying for the asset. I think that it would be smart and my plan would be if I do over leverage, I'm not going to, but if I do, I would just use interest only until, because your values are rising from inflation anyway. So
Yeah.
the property values are going up, which means your equity is going to go up.
Yes.
Hopefully that doesn't change.
And you're saying that payment's gonna stay low with an interest only.
With interest
You're
only,
not gonna
then
get
you
in the
keep your
red.
cash flow. It's paid for by the tenant or whatever you're doing with it. If you're living in it, interest only is dumb, but because it's not paying off on the actual principal. But if it's being operated, I think that's the way to like circumvent the stress that everybody's under right now. They don't know what to do. They're like, oh, we can't buy houses. They bought houses in 2007 and then bought them in 2008. And some people bought a lot of them in 2008.
Yeah.
So stay liquid by just interest only in the meantime, and then the values will go up and you'll have the equity spread. You'll be able to refinance into a lower interest rate later.
Tell me what about if so I think you said something about Rob Lewis. You like him for financing some of these properties. Do you, because I know for me as well, like certain lenders are kind of like, I mean, I get away with it, right? But certain lenders are a little more picky on the outskirts. Or what do you do about the comps? Like, do you ever have an issue with like running the ARV or the comps in some of these like outskirts one where it's hard to comp?
No, I don't. And we get an appraisal. So
okay, before closing.
Yeah, so
it's like, hey,
Rob requires an appraisal and a survey, and so I have to get that done in advance. So if it won't appraise, and then I have to tell him what I'm doing. So like sometimes like I have a different idea than what's just in front of me, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna cost me $90,000 to do this, but I'm gonna add this to it, and then this is the value, and here's the comp to show that this is the value, and this is what I'm gonna do.
Even if like the as-is appraisal is like weird, because we get appraisals where it's
they
like
appraisals for like,
hey, this is the budget.
What I'm gonna do, like
hey,
what are you gonna do? This is what I'm gonna do. Can you put that into a new floor plan? Yes, here's a new floor plan. Adding bedrooms or bathrooms always a good thing if you can fit it, and then I mean, if it's bigger property, then you can do like garage additions and things like that, but. Your budget has to be able to afford that, and the comps have to support it too.
For sure.
So otherwise, it's you're just not. It won't appraise, and then you're not gonna be able to buy it. And I think that's a good thing though. I would rather Rob check me and be like, hey, don't be dumb. Like this is a bad deal. Than okay, here, just go ahead and ruin your life. Like, I think that's what underwriting is for. That's they have to protect themselves, and I need to make good decisions too. But we have a good relationship.
I think that's really good for like first time flippers too, like
to be walked through.
Yeah, where like the lender's more like, hey, like a lot of times they'll be like, hey, are you sure like this isn't that good of a deal, or I don't know what something like that.
Me and Rob argue about that. Like, not argue, it's just like, no, Rob, this is what I'm going to do with it, and here, and it's the way that you present it. It's just like any other business deal that you would do. You have to show like what your intention is and how you're going to do it and how much it's going to cost to get there, and that's how that works. Like, you can't just say, oh, it's worth this and not prove it. So I think looking at it from different perspectives, I always have the out with like Airbnbs for DSCR. I always have that operating, the operating income to support any refinance. But I try to stay under 200,000. Like, and that's a lot.
Oh, the ARV?
No, of like what I'm buying.
Oh, your purchase price.
Yeah, my ARVs are between 200 and 300. Though.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about like if you had any tips or tricks on this like high end property that I have.
Get out of it as soon as possible is my trick.
Okay, about like I don't know about like if it is a good Airbnb or not, and like how you're. Okay, so I own this property with a partner. It's a 7,000 square foot house on 3 acres on a bayou.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen on my Facebook. It has like it looks like a wedding venue almost. It has a wraparound porch.
Make it a wedding venue.
It has a wraparound porch. It has a pool, a hot tub.
Make it a wedding.
Like incredibly nice.
Rent it to your wedding venue LLC, and create an LLC, or find a wedding venue that wants another venue.
And there's no HOA.
That's what I would do.
Interesting.
Your taxes have to be killer on that.
Okay.
Fight your taxes too.
It's like it's super expensive, like the
Yeah.
upkeep and like
Yeah, that's a lot.
the pool and like
And
yeah,
the
that's
problem with
expensive.
those, and I stay away from them, and this is why, is because they take longer to sell.
Yeah.
So like anybody that can afford, what do you think the ARV is for that house?
Well, okay, so we brought out. I'm sure. I want to hear if you've ever heard this before. Okay, we literally we didn't. It was one of these ones where there was like little comps. Okay, so I think it's fine to talk about this on air. Okay, so we purchased the property for $490.
Don't get yourself in trouble.
All right. So purchased the property for $490. Put $240,000 in renovation into the property, like engineered hardwood.
That's a low
Engineered
price per
hardwood.
square foot. That seems like it's a good deal.
Yeah, we're all into the loan for $710, but we went a little bit over the rehab budget, so we're like with interest and all this stuff, we're a lot higher than into it for $700.
Yeah.
But the loans for $710. We had realtors. We brought all these realtors out to the property because we're like, hey, well, like maybe there's an
Brokers
agent
and
or broker that like specializes in this area. We brought out like literally, I think 10 agents. The people told us that we should list it all the way from 1.9 million to
So
950
my point
to
is that
950.
anybody that can afford even 950, they can afford 500. They can afford 300. They can afford, so like when things get tough,
Yeah.
the people that can afford the big houses, they can
still
buy.
afford it.
They can still buy lower value houses.
Seriously.
So like they can afford everything in between. So you're looking for the unicorn to buy your house that
The
is
buyer
a
pools
unicorn.
and
So
the
your
likes-
buyer pool
and
is
it's okay
so
with that
much
area sound.
smaller than the people that are in this smaller threshold. So like
Yeah.
when interest rates go up and their payments are more unaffordable for people that can only afford 100 to 200,000, then those people that are buying the $500,000 house, they now have to buy 350 to 400, and that's extreme. But for an example, like they have to buy less of a house when interest rates go up. So that's the situation that we're in right now, is that as interest rates rise, they can afford less house. So I think that really think that new developments, what they're going to end up doing, they're going to build smaller houses,
Okay.
smaller square footages, and people are going to buy them for higher price per square foot because there's nothing available. So if you're smart, you go out and you build 1-car garage houses like they did. I mean, they did that before, but now like
It's expensive
it's
to build,
expensive.
like-
It's expensive. That's why. But you have to build less because that's how you compensate for that. Go outside.
Yeah, and
You can take your kids outside.
I was in Livingston. People do need to get outside. It's crazy. No more video games. But I was in Livingston yesterday, and I saw I have a flip that's like 1,300 square foot, and then across the street there was like a new construction. This thing like couldn't have been more than like 1,400, like maybe 1,300 square foot.
I don't like
house.
buying next to new construction.
I didn't see this one before. It's like I think it's the only I think it's like the only. It's like
Yeah, it's like
a street
a
over.
one-off.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like a homeowner, but it might even be just a homeowner. I don't know. But all right. Well, where can the people reach you if they want to sell? How can they work with you? You don't want any wholesale deals from anybody?
Okay, I'll take the wholesale deals, but.
Okay, Miss Vicky.
No, I'm in my own little bubble and I do my own little thing. I don't.
You don't talk to nobody.
No.
Okay.
I live in Wallace. Or I live in Orchard. I stay away from everyone. You drove me out here, or I had to drive out to Houston.
Well, you still gotta talk to some people to get deals, right? Or how are you getting deals right now? You're talking to people, right, or no?
So there's a lead
Or
generation.
the magic deal fairy just like starts dumping on you.
That's how it works. It's just magic. They appear. And no, I get referrals from it's a lot of like, oh well, Molly helped me with this situation, so
Okay.
she can help you with yours. And
Nice.
when I do marketing, it goes pretty well. I haven't done that since last year because my face got smashed, but I'm gonna probably do it again. Maybe not, But
Okay.
I've got
Glad to hear that.
I do pay for leads. I pay wholesale fees, and I pay for just leads.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it works.
Cool.
I don't.
I'm sure marketing goes a little farther in like the small towns maybe than like in Houston. Like
No, it's harder because everybody they will sell their houses to their friend before they will put it on the market. It is they always have low inventory. So like in Orchard, you'll never find. I mean, it's very rare that a house goes on the market in Orchard. Maybe when they do the 900-acre development or whatever, then that's going to completely change. But I think that, I mean, I have one of my best friends. She lives in Orchard also, and they know her, so they're like, oh, I gotta sell my house, whatever, blah blah blah, and she just goes and buys it. And so,
oh, really? So she's
yes.
an investor as well?
Yeah. Well, yes, she is. She has a day job though. She doesn't do it like full time, but
Okay.
she got into it, and she actually bought a house. She has a rent house right behind my Airbnb, so we bought the whole like block, and so that was like her first one, and then she just bought her second one, and the guy has like a lease back until July, so she's going to rehab that, split the lot. She already split the lot and do a new build on the other side.
Okay, I know I've been just bombarding you with questions, but I know I've already asked you this again. Are you using any certain websites to determine like, hey, this location or this property is going to work for Airbnb?
AirDNA is one that it will tell you like how much, and some lenders are starting to use that for your refinances, like to model what you can expect for your rents to be.
So they're refining off the
AirDNA.
income from AirDNA,
No, that's
the long term.
That's just how they do their desk appraisal. Is they use AirDNA and they say, okay, well you can get this much, and then they go and actually do an actual appraisal. But AirDNA is what I use.
Okay, cool. All right, well, perfect. Did you tell people how like to reach you or not reach you?
Don't reach me.
Okay, that's fine. Don't reach Molly, but good to have you.
I'll be around. You can find me wherever I am.
Any words of wisdom for the audience, things you want to leave?
Yes, protest your taxes this year.
Okay.
That's important.
All right, guys, protest y'all's taxes. Speak with y'all soon, and make sure you give us a like, subscribe, comment, and see y'all at Eureka Heights here next month.
You can find me there. I'll go there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.